Australia has made a bold commitment to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by an ambitious 62 to 70% by the year 2035. This pledge comes as part of a global effort to achieve net zero emissions by 2050, a goal that has become increasingly urgent in light of climate change challenges. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese emphasized that this decision was informed by the expert guidance of the Climate Change Authority. He stated, "This is the right target to safeguard our environment, bolster our economy, and create jobs, all while acting in the best interests of both current and future generations." Albanese further noted that the target is grounded in scientific evidence and represents independent advice provided to the government. Treasurer Jim Chalmers added that the government has conducted thorough economic modeling regarding a 65% emissions reduction target for 2035. The findings suggest that achieving this goal could lead to a more robust economy and increased wages compared to a scenario where no action is taken. Specifically, Treasury projections indicate that real wages could be 2.5% higher by 2050, and the real GDP per capita could increase by $2,100 if Australia commits to reducing emissions. Chalmers warned that failing to transition effectively could result in lower wages and rising electricity costs, highlighting the importance of a well-planned approach to this transition. Since 2005, Australia has already seen a reduction in emissions of approximately 27%. Previously, the government had anticipated a 51% decrease by 2035, but this new target represents a significant escalation in ambition. To meet this new goal, the Albanese administration recognizes that it will need to ramp up its efforts considerably. Matt Keane, chair of the Climate Change Authority, pointed out that achieving a 2035 target will necessitate a dramatic reduction in emissions over the next decade, effectively halving them during this period. In a proactive move, Prime Minister Albanese announced an additional investment of $2 billion to enhance the Clean Energy Finance Corporation, along with a new $5 billion net zero fund, aimed at helping industrial facilities transition to cleaner energy sources and expand renewable energy initiatives. The government has also released a net zero plan that outlines further strategies to achieve the 2035 emissions target. Potential measures include tightening the existing safeguards mechanism, improving the new vehicle efficiency standard, and exploring the implementation of carbon tariffs on imports entering Australia. The Climate Change Authority's advice indicates that even reaching a 62% reduction will require a substantial increase in renewable energy capacity, including a 4-fold increase in wind energy, a 3-fold increase in large-scale solar, and a doubling of rooftop solar installations. Additionally, it will necessitate extending the safeguard mechanism, halting old-growth logging, and ensuring that half of all vehicles sold between now and 2035 are electric. Climate Change Minister Chris Bowen expressed optimism about the economic opportunities that the energy transition could present for Australia, stating, "Today, the Albanese government has chosen to seize that opportunity." Keane noted that the recommended target range allows for flexibility in response to global uncertainties. He expressed hope that Australia could exceed these targets, emphasizing that extensive analysis has been conducted to ensure that the targets will safeguard industries, the economy, and the planet for future generations. Bowen explained that the range reflects the unpredictability of technological advancements over the next decade and the varying levels of ambition among different states and territories regarding their climate commitments. The response from various stakeholders has been mixed. Environmental groups have expressed disappointment, criticizing the target for not establishing 70% as a baseline for ambition. The Australian Conservation Foundation labelled the target as timid, while the Smart Energy Council acknowledged that while the 62 to 70% range signals a serious commitment to addressing climate pollution, they believe that 70% should be the minimum goal. In contrast, business organizations have cautioned against setting a target above 70%, arguing that it could jeopardize hundreds of billions of dollars in export value. Innes Willox, chief executive of the Australian Industry Group, acknowledged the challenges of achieving a 62 to 70% target, but stated that it is feasible with focused efforts to make Australia an attractive place for investment and development. Willox urged that the next decade should not be spent debating the target range, but rather on implementing practical measures to make these goals attainable. On the other hand, Greens leader Larissa Waters accused the government of yielding to the interests of coal and gas companies, asserting that the target would fall short of preventing the severe consequences outlined in the government's National Climate Risk Assessment. This report warns that if global temperatures rise above 3 degrees Celsius, Australia could face significant sea level rise, more frequent and severe natural disasters, and worsening heat waves and health crises. As Australia prepares to present this target at an upcoming United Nations meeting, where other world leaders will also announce their updated commitments, the debate continues. Will this target be sufficient to combat climate change effectively? What are your thoughts on the government's approach? We invite you to share your opinions in the comments below.